Rookies again today, guys. Rookie quarterbacks, rookie tight ends. We're going to tell you who these guys are and how they're going to affect the teams they're going to.
Guys, don't forget, like, share, subscribe across all social media platforms at Frankly Fantasy Football. We love you. Let's ride.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny, coming in with a rookie review part 2 here, guys. Quarterbacks and tight ends. Frankie, how you feeling, baby?
Ooh, this is good. It's easy. It's peasy. And guys, there's not a lot for this episode, so let's dig in and check it out.
This one's going to be short and sweet. We got a couple of guys to talk about here. We've actually got one quarterback we're going to talk about because we don't need to get into all of this. We want to help you with your fantasy draft now. Redrafts. That's what we're talking about here. So let's take a look at the first quarterback here, Frank. All right. We've got Fernando Mendoza. Ooh. That's right. I live in Indiana. You know, I watched this guy. I watched him live play this year. Fantastic. What a story. Okay. The more and more I've looked into his tape and looked into his play style, the more and more I'm on board and think he's actually going to be a good NFL quarterback. I really, really do. All right, let's take a look at it. From the Indiana Hoosiers, drafted to the Las Vegas Raiders, round 1, pick 1, number 1 with a bullet, baby. He's 6'5", 236. Oh, he's a big, cute guy, isn't he? Yeah. Runs a 4.75 40. Frankie, talk to us about Fernando Mendoza with the Raiders.
Ooh, man, I think the Raiders got him a good one here, guys. This will not be a Jamarcus Russell kind of thing. Thank the Lord for them Raiders fans for it. Let me tell you, Fernando is the guy. This is the guy that Tom Brady had circled on paper. Like, I'm telling you, man, he's walking in to a pretty damn good situation. Look, when we look at the stats last year, easy peasy. National champion, Heisman Trophy winner. Okay, everything else kind of falls to the wayside, even though he still had over 3,500 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Very, very accurate guy. Now, there has been some knocks on him, John. I'm not going to sit there and say he's been the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? They're like, hey, well, look at Joe Burrow's year or Jaden Daniels' year. Well, the reality is, guys, is there was still some good quarterbacks out there that he ended up playing better than and actually led a team, in a nice way to say it, it's their words, not mine, kind of a team full of misfits that got together and kicked everyone's ass. All right. You can't do that without a top tier guy at the helm. So look at Fernando Mendoza, man, going to the Raiders. They also brought on Kirk Cousins. Now, the reason that that's important is because Kirk Cousins could actually end up starting. He could be the starter for a few weeks, but it's going to be Fernando Mendoza's job from there. Now, again, when you look at, okay, well, who does Fernando remind you if you were sleeping under a rock and you didn't even look at the national championship game or anything like that? I'll tell you. It's like Matt Ryan, except he's a more mobile Matt Ryan. And so for me, man, when you look at what Matt Ryan did in his rookie year, he averaged roughly about 16 points a game. When you look at what Fernando could do, it's right around the same, about 15, 16, 17 points a game. Now, the issue is he going to have the ability to step in and play immediately? Or are we going to have to wait and sit on him for just a bit? So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this unfolds from the Raiders' perspective.
Well, you have Matty Ice as your comp there. Matty Ice. And what is this? Right. Is this Matty Nice? Is that what Fernando does?
Why not?
I just love that we're going Raider Nation, the black hole, to singing Kumbaya. I mean, this is like
locking arms.
Well, but I think that could be a good thing. Like, I joke about it. But I really do think it could be a good thing that it's going to change the culture in this Raiders offense and this Raiders locker room, you know, and I think for the better. He is a good locker room guy. I mean, you can't, yes, he's a dork. Yes, he's jolly gee whiz and all that kind of shit. But you know what? Maybe these guys need that.
Totally.
Okay. Yeah, it could be balance. I don't know, man. Yin and yang. Who knows? You know, very zen. All right, let's look at this team because I do think you're right. Kirk Cousins, I think we've seen Kirk Cousins. If he couldn't get it done with Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson, come on, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I just think that he was an insurance policy for Fernando Mendoza. They still have Aiden O'Connell on that roster as well as a backup. I think you're going to see Fernando sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
You're not drafting for that. When it comes to draft, you're looking at a super flex as your third quarterback.
Definitely. Totally agree.
Yeah. Hopefully a guy you can plug in a few weeks as your QB2. I mean, that's really what you're looking at. But if you're looking at super flex kind of value, I think he's a great QB2 for a super flex. I really, really do. The main reason being is, the style of play. Yes, they're lacking on receiver talent. You've got Trey Tucker, you've got Jalen Naylor, Jack Beck.
Yeah. Deontay Thornton.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of a bunch of guys. There's nobody you're super excited about. We saw Trey Tucker break out and play well when he had to, so he could very well have some nice deep balls. Fernando throws a great deep ball.
Great.
He really does. So it could be a surprise for Trey Tucker there. But what I love about him is the dink and duck, the checkdowns. If that first read isn't open, he immediately will check down.
Yep.
It tries to make the play, it extends the play with his legs a little bit, still looking for that check down. Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, all day long. I think it's really going to be good for those guys. How else do you see kind of the receivers, running backs? How do you see that shaking out with fantasy with Mendoza starting?
Guys, I think there's a sleeper here that nobody's talking about. We mentioned it very briefly, but it's Jalen Naylor. You don't sign a guy to a 3-year, over $35 million deal if you're not planning on using the guy. I mean, think about it when the Patriots ended up signing Jacoby Myers, right, to that particular same deal. Think about the Juju Smith-Schusters. Those are the types of deals that we now just saw Jalen Naylor get. So my point is, Wan'Dale Robinson. Exactly, man. So for me, I'm really looking at Jalen Naylor as he's walking in, let's call it a 1B from a receiver perspective. I mean, do we say 2 to Trey Tucker? It's certainly behind that of Brock Bowers. So, I think what this does for Fernando Mendoza and a lot of the benefits that we saw, especially on film, and again, we're Buckeyes fans, so we saw this cat, and he beat us. So for me, man, I'm looking at him, and it's sky is the limit with Brock Bowers this year. If he can stay healthy, we're going to see Brock Bowers be tight end 1 or 2 again. And then you look at Trey Tucker. I think it's worth Trey Tucker or Jalen Naylor taking a flyer on those guys. Because Fernando's has to throw the ball to somebody. We saw what he was able to do with Elijah Sarrett. We saw what he was able to do with Omar Cooper Jr., by the way, another first-round pick. So for me, man, I'm looking at what he was able to do with the pieces that he had around him at Indiana. It wasn't the Jeremiah Smiths of the world. It wasn't the Kenyon Sadiqs of the world. It wasn't the, Jeremiah Loves of the world. And he elevated all of them. So my point is, you're not taking this guy as the standalone, your QB1 in a 1-quarterback league. But you would be crazy not to take him as your QB3 in a superflex. Think of Taylor Heineke. Think of some of these other players that came in that actually ended up playing really well, but you took them as your QB3, or maybe you're crazy and went QB4 in a superflex league. Now you have all this trade power. So when the league starts getting hurt and injured and you're walking into week 9 and the bye-apocalypse happens, now teams that need to win, you have the piece to unlock and you can get a hell of a deal. That is the value of Fernando Mendoza for your team.
I think he could be sneaky as far as rushing in some touchdowns too.
I agree.
He does do that. Think of it as we're not talking to Lamar Jackson here or Josh Allen.
Jackson Dart
last year? We're talking a Jackson Dart. We're talking a Baker Mayfield potentially. Very similar to that, extending the play, getting out and running in some touchdowns. He did do that quite a bit. So that could be a potential as well. But yeah, man, he gets the job and I'm going to be excited about it in a super flex for sure. I love what it does for Genty. I love what it does for Brock Bowers. Immediately pushes him up my board. And yes, take a flyer on one of those 2 receivers. Why not? They're all free. You're talking free. Trey Tucker's 191st off the board right now. So yeah, they're all free guys. Take a flyer. You can drop them after week 1 or 2 if they're not getting the targets, but somebody's going to get pretty good quality targets from Fernando Mendoza at some point on this team.
And John, to your point, thinking about the rushing guys, Fernando Mendoza starting all 16 games, he ended up having 276 yards rushing and 7 rushing touchdowns. Think about that.
Right. So he could put out a handful of them there and really help you out. Yeah. All right, let's get to our tight ends now. Frankie, we've got a couple of guys we need to talk about. Could be some fantasy value here for sure. Yeah. Difficult situations for a lot of these guys, but let's talk about it here. First tight end off the board, we've got Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. drafted in round 1, a round 1 tight end, man.
Oh, yeah.
Pick 11 in round 1 to the New York Jets. All right. Oh, you get real excited, and then I say the New York Jets, and you're like, okay, great. Who also had a round 2 pick for tight end last year's draft with Mason Taylor. Okay. What are we going to do here, Frank? 6'3", 241 pounds, 4.39. Good 40 for a tight end. Let's go.
Guys, Kenyon Sadiq is one of those players to when you see him, you notice him. Like it's when he walks by you and you're like,
he's a specimen.
Dude's a freak, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just the only way to say it. Then you see his tape on film and or his tape from the field and it's just like, oh my God, you're faster than hell too. So for me, man, think of him as one of the most versatile tight ends with a shredded physique, absolute potential target, volume monster. And his route tree is phenomenal. Truly all 3 phases, short route, medium route to take across the linebackers. And then absolutely, he's a nightmare matchup with a safety, let me tell you. So here's the problem though, guys. Well, and before I get there, his stats, before we get to the facts, 51 receptions, 560 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns. Very good stat line for a tight end coming out of college. Now his situation goes to the Jets. Now, we have Garrett Wilson. We have Omar Cooper Jr., who we talked about, with Fernando's number 1 guy from a receiving perspective in Indiana. They also have Adonai Mitchell. Again, we have kind of wait to see what happens there. And you have Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor as your tight end, too, with Breece Hall. Guys, the issue is I didn't say a quarterback. Because the reality is Geno Smith went back, and now he's getting in some legal trouble. Again, it's early July. This could be all smoothed over. But as it stands right now, there's some legal trouble that could absolutely hinder potentially him being on the field with domestic violence stuff. Then you look at, okay, well, who's the backup? Well, it's Cade Klubnik. So that's a rookie. And then you look at, okay, well, who's the next guy? Okay, it's Brady Cook. We've seen Brady Cook. He ain't cooking. Okay. And then you start looking at Bailey Zappi. Well, we've also seen this. So my point is there's really nobody to throw the ball. But here's the thing. Tight ends just need some space. They just need a little bit. So there could be value. Again, from a fantasy perspective, guys, he's free. Okay, very free. And Johnny, you'll talk on this a bit. But who does he remind you of? If you have not watched Oregon, if you're up here listening to us talk, what is the guy that you can put in my mind that's like, ooh, okay, I gotcha. Vernon Davis.
I love that one.
Okay.
It's so good.
Vernon Davis. Guys, you remember how good that cat was going to San Francisco? You remember his speed, his ability to run all 3 different route trees?
He was like the first guy with the belly shirt and just fucking ripped. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was like the manager of your boy band. You know, he's the old guy. He was the manager of those guys. And so, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So my point is, dude, when you look at Vernon Davis, his rookie year, he actually only played roughly in 4 games. He averaged roughly about 3 points per game. Guys, Kenyon Sadiq is a completely different specimen than what the Jets have from Mason Taylor. Yes, Mason Taylor comes from great lineage. However, this guy steps in and is immediately dynamic. So for me, man, I probably won't draft him. I'll be super honest with you because I think that there are better options just from a quarterback play standpoint. But also, don't be surprised if he ends up getting some crazy picks. Like a good pick could be for best ball for him. If you're looking to get 2 or 3 different tight ends on your team, take a Kenyon Sadiq in best ball. But from a redraft standpoint, not necessarily a guy I'm targeting just due to the situation.
Yeah. He's a tight end, you know, I mean, and he's maybe not even the starting tight end for this team. So it is going to be difficult. This is kind of a year 2 play. Yeah. You know, the Jets aren't going to be good. They're clearly going to get their quarterback next year in this amazing draft class coming up. Next year is where I'm really going to look at putting Kenyon Sadiq on my team. He'll have a good quarterback. They'll probably address some of the offensive line issues that they've had, and it gives him an extra year. Mason Taylor's, he's kind of a guy. Yeah, he's a really great athlete, but I mean, he's nothing. Every year we seem to have this freak athletes that come out like Kyle Pitts and, you know, these guys, you know, and Kenyon Sadiq is one of those, you know.
4.39 as a tight end.
It's crazy. I mean, the athletes that they're putting in as tight ends now are just the most unbelievable athletes in all of sports. It's absolutely nuts, man. Yeah. So keep an eye on him. Could be a guy, especially with injury in the passing offense, if something were to happen even to a Garrett Wilson or a Mason Taylor,
Yeah.
Pay attention to this guy because he could have sneaky value for you halfway through the season. No question. All right, let's move on here, Frank. Let's get to our number 2 guy here. Another interesting pick in an interesting situation. Eli Stowers from Vandy gets drafted round 2, pick 22 to the Philadelphia Eagles here. 6'4", 239, 4'5", 140. Talk to us about Eli Stowers with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Guys, this is a very interesting draft pick because typically the Eagles or teams in general, if you're picking a guy in the second round, you're typically going to be playing him, especially from a tight end perspective. However, they did just re-sign Dallas Goddard for a 1-year deal. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to ease in Eli Stowers and they're going to get him comfortable in this offensive scheme. And then eventually it will be him at the tight end spot. Dallas Goddard will kind of go away, very similar to like Zach Ertz and Dallas Goddard when Goddard first got there. That's very similar to what I see with Eli Stowers. Now, what he did from a stats perspective, 62 receptions, 769 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns on a damn good, fun as hell to watch Vanderbilt team. Who have said that in years? In the last 30 years, I don't know if we've ever even come close to saying that. They were the butt of the joke in the SEC, the butthole of the joke, actually, the gross, deep dungeon of the SEC. Come to find out, they're the darlings. People were vouching for them to get a playoff spot, which I was one of them. It would have been fun just because they were on that. They were a bandwagon style of team. Now, here's another cool call out, man. Stowers is actually an explosive quarterback convert, meaning he converted from quarterback to then going into the tight end position. So not only is he an excellent athlete, he knows how to read a defense. All right, John. So when we look at about it from a player comp perspective, really Eli Stowers to me is absolutely Colston Loveland-esque, right? Colston Loveland drafted first round last year, went to the Bears. Like, look, Eli Stowers is of that makeup. And when you think of how well Colston played last year, I mean, it was really an incredible year. He averaged about 11 points per game and half PPR, about 175 total points. Do I think that Eli Stowers is going to get there this year? No, I don't, because of Dallas Goddard. However, looking at the years ahead when there is no more Dallas Goddard, look at what happened from Ertz to Goddard. Now you're going from Goddard to Stowers. So for that reason, keep him on your radar. Not fantasy relevant this year, but years ahead, absolutely could be a very nice player for the Birds.
Keep an eye on him. I mean, the reason we're doing this is to introduce you to these guys because this could be a waiver wire pickup.
Could be.
They could run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. They do not have A.J. Brown anymore.
Right.
There could be some different looks in this offense where they've got 2 tight ends on the field. If he is, they only signed Goddard to a 1-year deal. Yeah. Goddard's done. Yeah. So this guy is the future. They're not going to sit him all year and then get him on the field next year. He's going to be on the field. They're going to see what they've got in this guy. Could have some sneaky value late in the season, especially if Goddard gets banged up. Yeah, excellent offense. So you got to love it. All right, Frankie, let's go to our last guy here. Not super fantasy relevant, but again, like Stowers, this is a guy you need to know. He's in a crowded backfield, but an excellent offense, excellent offensive-minded coach. Max Clare from Ohio State, the Ohio State Buckeyes. IO. Drafted to the Los Angeles Rams with Sean McVay. So let's go. Love this. Matthew Stafford. All right. I like this spot for him. Drafted round 2, high draft capital for a tight end. Pick 29, 6'4", 246, runs a 4.62. Talk to us about Max Clare with the Rams.
Guys, look, Max Clare, when we look at the stats from last year, it's not really jumping off the paper by any means, but he did a lot of things that don't get a lot of metric credit for. And I'll hit on that in a second. But last year, guys, 43 receptions, 448 yards receiving, 2 receiving touchdowns. Again, when you look at the field, though, that he's playing on with Ohio State, there's quite a few miles to feed between Ennis and Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith and Bo Jackson and plug in XYZ, right? There's a lot of people to get that ball. But here's what he does bring to the table. Highly athletic, incredible pass-catching tight end, capable of earning a volume of targets and across like a variety of different routes. And that's what's interesting. When Max Clare came to Ohio State, he's not homegrown. He came from another team on the Big Ten, Purdue. So when he comes back or over to Ohio State, we were able to exploit some of the things that he does really well, which is exactly why he went round 2 and which is exactly where the Rams are seeing some value. Now, here's the deal, guys. Like, John, you mentioned it, not that fantasy relevant from what we know. The reason being is because it's certainly going in to a very, very crowded tight end room.
It's packed. It's packed in there.
I mean, hey, it's a party, dude. It's a sausage party. Like we're taking off our togas. We're in the sauna together. I mean, it's a party. It's crazy.
Yeah, so, let's talk about that real quick. I'll name them off for you. You still have Colby Parkinson, Tyler Higbee, Terrence Ferguson, all three listed ahead of him. So, it's toy. It's toy. It's toy.
It's toy. So who does he remind you of, man? It's Brenton Strange. Guys, when you think of a player comp, Brenton Strange is the guy that comes to mind. Again, not super sexy, not saying he's like this next Vernon Davis, like Kenyon Sadiq, but certainly a very serviceable NFL quality tight end. And so when you look at what Brenton Strange did rookie year, very nominal results, roughly about a couple points per game, could be similar for Max Clare. So again, definitely, I'm telling you, don't draft him this year unless crazy things transpire, but it's good name to know, especially from a dynasty and especially in years to come.
All right, Frank, that is the quarterback, and the three tight ends that might have some fantasy value in our rookie reviews. All right, nice work, man. Nice work.
Good job.
Yeah, good to get back in the swing of things again, man. Yeah. Frankie, what do we have coming up for people?
Ooh, you guys get ready because we're diving into probably the biggest rookie review episode of the year, looking at receivers, where they're at, where can you draft them, what their situations are. Get ready. It is going to be awesome. Following that, guys, mock it up. We're going to be doing some mock drafts. We're diving into new faces and new places, breaking it down by each position and where those players are, what happened, what's their situation, and if you should be drafting them or not.
That's right. Stick with us, guys. We're going to get you ready for your draft this season, help you win that draft. Not going to help you win your Super Bowl. That's on you, but we're going to help you win the draft. So let's do it. May the fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.